Baen Books has a Larry Correia problem, or should I say a lack of Larry Correia problem, coming with new output going on. And this has been ramping up for quite a while, and it's been quite the spiral that's going on as well. I've heard from people inside Baen Books that there are potential financial problems going on, but I can't get more into that without unfortunately outing people there. Now, Baen Books has a standing order of people there that they're not allowed to talk to me or my channel or my news outlet, which makes no sense because we promote, of course, quality science fiction and fantasy, especially military science fiction and the like. We have a very huge crossover audience where if they would just play ball, we'd be helping them sell books, and it's very, very sad that these people want to act like this and act very petty in the industry here. But at the same time, Larry Correia seems to understand that their marketing ability is just dead in the water and that he can do much better by moving elsewhere without them. Now, he has his best-selling Monster Hunter International series there still, but this company used to have like nearly 100% of his output, and he's now, quote, diversifying to different places because he sees the writing on the wall. He won't tell anybody this, of course, but this is the only reason you do something like this, because Baen Books would clearly love to have Larry Correia 100% under their control, much like Tor has John Scalzi under their control, and whatever his output is, they'd love to have it, I'm sure, because it would make them a lot of money. Now, this is very interesting stuff here as we get into this new thing from Aethon Books right here, and of course, we've been covering Aethon Books and their lit RPG stuff this week. It's been very fascinating to dive into this, and I'll be having a interview with the Aethon Books author on my Fandom Pulse Substack tomorrow, so don't miss that in the description below. Please hit the like and subscribe button and join us here as we talk about all things in science fiction and fantasy. This is the real sci-fi and fantasy news. I'm glad you're here, my friends. And I am also a sci-fi writer myself. This is my Justified Saga of the Nano Templar. It's a 3-book trilogy, which you're going to absolutely love. If you're a fan of Larry Correia's just hard-hitting action, this is a book for you. And we have a lot of crossover fans, Larry and I. I believe that we share a lot of audience, and so it's great stuff. You will absolutely enjoy this. Check it out. It's in the description below. It's Crusaders in Space. You can't go wrong there. It's available on ebook, print, and audio for your convenience. And thank you so much for reading, guys, and making this channel huge success because of you. So interesting stuff. New York Times bestselling author Larry Correia has now got a full Amazon page listing with publisher Aethon Books. This just popped up, the Amazon listing recently. They announced it earlier this year on their website as a deal, and this is the Aethon Books. We signed with Larry Correia, a new fantasy series. Interesting. And Academy of Outcasts, he's going to pen a progression fantasy series set in a D&D-inspired world with elemental realms. This features a poor young man in the fire realm who's destined to nothing but servitude and magic-wielding monsters. Now, Larry, like myself, is a very large fan of a role-playing system called Legend of the Five Rings. We have so much in common, me and him. It's really fun. With that, it's got an elemental magic system. I think he likes to incorporate that. There's a little bit of L5R in this Son of a Black Sword fantasy series, which was a fantastic read also. So good stuff right here. I expect this is going to be a fantastic book. I expect Aethon Books is going to sell like hotcakes on this. And then you go, well, wait a minute. Why is he going to Aethon Books with this? Interesting stuff. Aethon Books is making huge moves across the industry. If you've not seen what they're doing, they are picking up people. They've got books coming out from a bunch of different people who are building audiences on a site called Royal Road, where a lot of people read and start to learn about these authors, and then they transport them into Amazon on here. Pretty exciting stuff. On top of that, they're actually really on top of Webtoon, Tapas, websites, and new business models of finding authors that already make money. This is like a model for a publisher I've never seen in a long, long time, and they're just crushing it because of that. So I expect them to do very similar here. Of course, Larry Correia's name by itself is going to sell great. This sort of progression fantasy is going to sell great. This is right-to-market kind of stuff. The cover looks fantastic here. The concept sounds really, really good. Again, this is something where if you're Baen Books, you got to go, why isn't Larry spending his time writing a new series for us? Now, he's been with them for a long, long time. Now, if you don't know, Larry Correia actually came out of the early Amazon days in the Wild, Wild West, where he built a following himself based on his Monster Hunter International series that kind of built up, and that's where Baen Books picked him up. And so they were very, very lucky to have done so because he's made them mountains of money over the years with his series. And now, of course, as I'm seeing things, there are some issues over there where they're wanting to diversify. Now, we first learned about what was happening with the issues over there when a company called Arc Press started up. Now, this Arc Press got Peter Thiel investment money, and where this all tied into Baen Books is the fact that Peter Thiel approached Baen Books before starting this Arc Press and before his investment company came in there. He actually offered to buy Baen Books, according to my sources, and Baen Books turned him down on this level. Bad stuff. And so what happened was this came over, and a bunch of Baen editors actually jumped ship, were poached. Baen was floundering without editorial for a second, and this came off the heels of a couple weird business decisions over there. Now, the weird business decisions involved firing their one publicity guy. A lot of authors who are starting out there have voiced to me that they've gone into Baen Books over the last 5 years. They've gotten no marketing. One author even told me himself that Baen didn't even tell him his book was coming out. Like, he found out from other people who was like, hey, your book was out. It was very, very wild when that all happened. And so they've had a lot of problems just marketing smaller authors. And this is where Aethon Books is doing things differently, because the authors they're picking up on the mid-list end already have a following attached to them. Baen is trying to develop people, but they don't actually have a marketing department to get those new people out to people. So what happens is the companies like Baen rely on Larry coming out with a new Monster Hunter book, or John Ringo coming out with a new Black Tide book or whatever, because here those guys, or David Weber, for example, those are about the top three that really bring in the big bucks for them. Everybody else, it's a little bit floundering on that level. And so they rely on them to come in, because they come out with a new book, they get a flood of new money in, then they can pay off all their other authors who are not making money. And it's a cycle that's a little tough, and it's tough to be a new author, especially in that system, because those new authors are not getting the support they need marketing to then make back their investments. It's a catch-22. They really need a marketing guy, and hey, you guys should be trying to work with me instead of trying to fight me. It's so stupid. But they are stuck in the past. They're really stuck in traditional publishing ways. They're stuck trying to appeal to the traditional publishing environment, and that's exactly why they're not moving forward. And that's where Aethon really has this push. They've really got momentum behind them to do new things. Now, Arc Press, like I said, started with this. They also are picking up a Larry Correia series, which sounds a lot like Monster Hunter International. It's going to be a modern fantasy just like that. And so they're actually poaching Larry on his main sort of property that Baen Books, I'm sure, would want. Now, I was told that Baen Books did talk with Larry about this. I think they have an option on his books, probably. Don't know for sure. Of course, I don't know anything about their contracts, and these guys don't talk to me. And it was turned down. Now, I don't know if they just couldn't afford it or what, but that's a bad sign, because, again, that's a big revenue maker. They'd make tons of money off of that. It's very, very obvious. On the other side, they actually had Christopher Rocchio's series that they bought from Daw Books, and that was a huge one too, because that guy's Sun Eater books, by the way, best books out there. If you've not read those, I'm just floored with how good they are. Those are great science fiction. That would be Baen's wheelhouse. That is the future right there. He would be the one that you want to pick up if you're Baen Books. They sold back the rights to Daw after picking it up. They only released one book out of it. Very, very odd stuff right there. Again, from what I'm hearing internally, they could not actually give Rocchio the support that he needed to actually become that really A-tier author that he deserves to be, and so therefore they gave it back to Daw, who has a little more resources, and that was actually kind of more of as a favor to him, because their company is not able to provide things. That's what I heard. I don't know how much of this. Again, none of these people. I've asked Tony Weisskopf for comment. I've received nothing on that front. Like I said, there's a standing order at Baen not to talk to me and not to let me know what's going on. I find out all the information anyway. It's stupid. But a lot of the authors do talk to me still, and they actually really like the channel here. I know a lot of people watch it, which is really, really funny on that level too. They can't stop the signal as much as they've tried. They've tried to cancel me and all that crap too, but it just doesn't work these days. So interesting stuff on that level. There's a lot of business developments going on there. Like I said, there's some rocky financial stuff I've heard is happening over there. And with these books not coming out through Baen Books, with Larry Correia going elsewhere to 2 different companies, and then he's doing a 3rd series, which he says he's going to be releasing self-published independently also. He's now diversified, where he had 100% of his output there to less than 50%. That's a bad sign for Baen's future, and it's not going to be very good. Now, on the other front, you've got your David Weber and John Ringo. Those guys are aging. Their output is a little slower than it used to be. They can't get as much out of them as they used to, and they really don't have a stable of upcoming authors. So you go to BaenBooks.com, it's what's coming out? Is anything really going to move the needle? You got a little bit of Timothy Zahn, again, a aging author who doesn't, command as much respect as he should outside of Star Wars. Unfortunately, this Icarus series is fantastic. If you've not read it, it's actually better than his Star Wars stuff. But it does not sell as much as the Star Wars stuff, very obviously. Sharon Lee and Steve Miller, unfortunately, these are great people. It does not move the needle on the financial level like that. They've got a dedicated small fan base, absolutely talented authors as well. I mean, the problem is there's a lot of talent here that I like. It's just there's not a lot of talent here that actually has sales potential. And so a lot of this stuff, like you haven't even heard of this stuff before. Of course, you got some stuff coming out. This is not a new release, I don't think, is it? Is it a new release? I think it's like a reprint, as I recall. I think so as well. Oh, well. But again, like they're obviously putting Larry Correia front and center on here to try to get information going on. And John Ringo, you see that name a lot as well. Eric Flint. I mean, Eric Flint's not alive anymore, so I don't even know how this is happening. But hey, odd stuff. So they're trying. I mean, it's just like they don't have a marketing, and this website's from 1990, whatever it is. You go to Aethon Books, and it's like, this looks fresh. This looks new. Here's the new release right here, front and center, big. This is something you might want to pick up right away. It's a lot better, and it's a lot more friendly. You got a Discord server right here to engage with, a newsletter right here. Baen Books, like, I don't know what's going on. Like it's all marketing, right? And so I think this is why Larry's actually kind of moving on, and because he knows the writing's on the wall there. Everybody else has told me the writing's on the wall there. They're not willing to make moves. They're just stuck in 20 years ago, and everything stops at Toni Weisskopf. Apparently, she's not a very good businesswoman who does not really just like to delegate, does not understand like how to build the business on that level. She's a great editor. Don't get me wrong. One of the best editors who ever lived, but that's not an operations person. Those are two different things. So I think they really need an influx of vision, an influx of talent, an influx of energy, and I don't see it happening at this point. I think Aethon Books is the future, and stuff like that is the future, and we're going to be covering it here as it all goes along. What do you think about this? Leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Are you going to be checking out Academy of Outcasts when it comes out? And please, guys, check out my series, Justified Saga of the Nano Templar, right now. This is out already. Full book trilogy. It's finished. You can read it this weekend. Really appreciate you being here. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.